Week 2 is in the books, and we couldn't be more excited to bring you our predictions for Week 3. If you're new here at Touchdown Kingdom, please make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and greatest NFL content. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoy the video, and most importantly, let us know your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Let's get right into our predictions for Week 3 of the 2023 NFL regular season. The proud sponsor of today's video here on Touchdown Kingdom is BetUS. Now, if you haven't heard of BetUS, they are one of the leading platforms for online betting, offering a wide range of sports betting and casino games. They have an incredible variety of betting options on a ton of different sports. You can do so much on BetUS, including pregame bets, parlay live bets, and player prop bets. BetUS is offering a 125% sign-up bonus when you click the link in the description. For example, if you made an account and deposited $100, BetUS will give you $225 to play with on their site. For any questions, check out any of the BetUS customer support options through live chat, email, and phone support. So please visit BetUS, sign up using the link in the description, and start betting on your favorite sports and games today. Kicking things off on Thursday Night Football with a battle between the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. After getting off to a slow start for the second straight week, the Giants managed to rally and come back to beat the Arizona Cardinals by 3 points in a wild finish. They certainly have some momentum heading into this next game against San Francisco, but it will take a lot to beat this loaded 49ers team. They're averaging 30 points scored per game over the first 2 weeks and should honestly have no problems beating the Giants on a short week, especially with Saquon Barkley due to miss this game because of an ankle injury. This might be another rough week for the G-Men. Niners win and cover the spread 31-17. Moving on to the LA Chargers at Minnesota Vikings. This should be a very interesting game. It's a must-win for both the Chargers and the Vikings, as both teams were in the playoffs last year but have managed to start the 2023 season with 2 straight losses. Here's a fun fact. Over the last 42 seasons, 176 teams have started 0-3, and only 6 have made the playoffs. That's only 3.4%. Both of these high-powered offenses are definitely looking to get back to the postseason this year, so this should be a hard-fought battle without a doubt. Both of these defenses are in the bottom half of the league, so there should be lots of points scored in this one. I think the Chargers are the team with the better quarterback, and for that reason, I expect them to come out on top. Chargers win 27-24. Up next, we have the Tennessee Titans traveling to Cleveland to take on the Browns. The Titans managed to beat the Chargers in an impressive home victory last week, while the Browns lost by 4 to the Steelers on Monday night. The Browns are still the favorites, probably thanks to their Week 1 performance against Cincinnati, but I think these two teams are more evenly matched than most might think. Deshaun Watson has had a pretty good start to the year as Browns quarterback, but Ryan Tannehill and the Titans offense continue to hang out in games and make them interesting. They're 2-0 against the spread to start the year, and I do like the Titans to go into Cleveland and come out with a W, especially since the Browns just lost their star running back Nick Chubb to a knee injury. Titans win 24-20. Next up, the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the first time that these two AFC South rivals will meet in 2023. Despite C.J. Stroud's 384-yard and 2-touchdown performance in Week 2, the Texans could not manage to beat the Colts. The Jaguars are also coming off of a loss in which they only scored 9 points. While this is definitely not the result that the Jags were looking for against the defending champion Chiefs, they are a much better team than the Texans, who still have a long way to go on their path towards NFL relevance. I like the Jags to get the W at home, and I expect a big bounce back from Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville offense. I like them to cover the 9-point spread as well. Jags win 28-17. Moving on to another divisional matchup, this time it's the Patriots at the New York Jets. The Pats and the Jets are going head-to-head for the first time this season as one of the most heated rivalries in all of football continues. The Jets have not beaten New England in their last 14 matchups. The Patriots seem to have their number, and Bill Belichick is definitely licking his lips thinking about his D-line getting after Jets quarterback Zach Wilson. In the Jets' defense, they did play the Pats very closely last year, and even a small improvement from Zach Wilson in 2023 gives them the advantage in this matchup. The Jets have the better defense and the better running attack. If the New York pass rush can get to Mac Jones and make his afternoon difficult, I like the Jets to come out with the W. Jets win and cover in a low-scoring defensive battle, 17-14. Next, we have the Denver Broncos heading down south to take on the Miami Dolphins. The Broncos are 0-2 to start the year and don't look like they've improved much under new head coach Sean Payton. While their 2 losses have been by either 1 or 2 points, they're still in a very tough position sitting in last place in a difficult AFC West. Now they have to hit the road and take on the unbeaten Dolphins, who are off to a great start in 2023. Their offense is one of the best in football, and their defense improved greatly in Week 2. They are a formidable opponent for any team to face, and I'd definitely be worried if I was a Denver fan. Remember what I said at the beginning of the video about starting the season with 3 straight losses? The Broncos definitely want to avoid that, but are faced with a very tough task ahead. I think this game might be closer than most would expect, but I still like the Dolphins to come out with a W. Dolphins win, but Denver covers the 7-point spread, 30-24. Moving along to the Saints and the Packers. The Saints are off to a good start and could be a potential playoff team to keep an eye on in a weak NFC South division. The Packers are in the infant stages of the Jordan Love era, but he's looked pretty great so far. Through 2 games, he has 6 touchdown passes and no interceptions. Although the Packers are coming off of a 1-point loss to the Falcons, I think that Love has everything he needs to come back and beat the 2-0 Saints at home this week. He'll be truly challenged for the first time this year, dealing with a very good New Orleans defense, but his performance so far has set him up for success in this Week 3 matchup. Packers win and cover 25-21. Moving on to the Buffalo Bills at the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are 2-0 so far in 2023, but both of their victories came by small margins. After taking a bad loss to the Jets in the season opener, the Bills came back and smashed the Raiders last week. Josh Allen bounced back and had a great game, and I expect him to continue this high level of play against the Washington Commanders, whose defense has been disappointing overall, allowing the Broncos to score 33 points against them last week. The Bills should have no issues beating the Commanders by at least a touchdown, which is why I like Buffalo to win and cover the 6.5-point spread, 31-20. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Detroit Lions. The Falcons have also gotten off to a surprising 2-0 start on the season, and their young offense is transforming into one of the more dynamic units in the league. Quarterback Desmond Ridder had a much better passing performance this past week in their impressive win over the Packers, and they'll certainly be looking to use that momentum as they take on another NFC North squad, the Detroit Lions. After starting the season strong, the Lions flopped in Week 2 against the Seahawks, losing in overtime. The Lions are definitely the better football team, but they would be unwise to underestimate the Falcons and what they are capable of. I do like the Lions to win at home, but I think the Falcons make it very interesting and end up covering the spread. Lions win but fail to cover, 27-24. Moving on to the Indianapolis Colts at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are one of just 2 teams in the entire AFC that are off to a 2-0 start this year. They're cooking to start the season and will be looking to advance to 3-0 against a Colts team that might be without their starting quarterback, rookie Anthony Richardson. Richardson left last week's game with a concussion and was ruled out for the remainder of the contest. His status heading into Week 3 is still uncertain, and that spells bad news for the Colts. Gardner Minshew is a very capable backup, but the Ravens are the superior team on every level and should have no issues getting the W, especially at home. I like the Ravens to win and cover the 8-point spread, 28-17. Up next, we have the Carolina Panthers heading out west to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Bryce Young's NFL career has gotten off to a rocky 0-2 start. His 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions through 2 games are pretty typical of a rookie quarterback, but the team around him clearly is not good enough to be competitive. On the flip side, the Seahawks rallied and got the W in overtime last week against Detroit, and they'll definitely be looking to use that momentum as they head back to Seattle to take on the struggling Panthers. Geno Smith has proved that he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, and he's coming off of a very good Week 2 performance. I like the Seahawks to show us more of what we saw last week and to cover the spread at home. Seattle wins 25-15. Moving on to the Dallas Cowboys at Arizona Cardinals. The Dallas Cowboys are off to a red-hot start in 2023. Their defense is the best in football, and they've outscored their last two opponents 70-10. They look great on both sides of the ball and are quickly becoming NFC Super Bowl favorites. On the flip side, the Cardinals are 0-2, but have surprised everyone across the league by staying in games. Going into this season, the Cardinals were pretty much unanimously thought of as the worst team in football, but they've lost by less than a touchdown in both games that they've played. I have no doubts that the Cowboys will come out on top, but a 12-point spread is pretty massive and hard to cover. That being said, the Cowboys have already proved that they can dominate and shouldn't have an issue stomping out Arizona on the road. Dallas wins and covers 31-13. Moving on to what should be another lopsided affair, we have the Chicago Bears heading to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. The Bears offense continues to struggle with Justin Fields at the helm. He already has 3 interceptions on the year and looks as though he hasn't improved much since last season. The Bears are winless heading into Week 3 and now have to deal with the defending Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs season hasn't exactly gotten off to a perfect start, but they did bounce back and get a W against the Jaguars last week. The spread is massive once again, with the Chiefs sitting at 13-point home favorites. But if there was ever a game to really get back on track and dominate, it's this one. Mahomes has had a pretty average start to the year, but with Travis Kelce and Chris Jones fully cemented back in the lineup, this game is the Chiefs to lose. I like them to dominate the Bears and remind the league of who the defending champs are. Chiefs win big and cover 30-10. Up next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Both teams are 1-1 heading into this Week 3 matchup. This should be a fun game between two evenly matched teams. The Raiders have not looked great overall, and Jimmy Garoppolo has as many interceptions as he does touchdowns. They're also coming off of a 38-10 stomp-out loss at the hands of the Buffalo Bills. The Steelers are in the opposite situation. They're still not a great team, but after losing horribly in Week 1, they rallied to beat the Browns on Monday night of Week 2. The momentum of this W might be enough to make it happen for the Steelers as they head to Vegas to take on the Raiders. I like the Steelers to get the W and cover the spread 21-18. Moving along to the Eagles at the Bucs. The Eagles have won their first 2 games, but have not looked as dominant as they were throughout pretty much all of last season. Surprisingly, the Bucs are also 2-0 with Baker Mayfield leading the way. They recently beat the Bears by 10, but more impressively, beat the Vikings on the road back in Week 1. Mayfield has played well overall and has yet to turn the ball over, but now he faces a huge challenge that is the Eagles' defense. The Eagles have yet to win a game by more than 6 points, and I view the 5.5-point spread as a realistic barometer for what we can expect this week. I do like the Eagles to win, but not by more than a touchdown. Philly wins and covers 24-17. The final game of Week 3, we have the LA Rams taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are off to a rough 0-2 start and simply cannot afford to lose a third straight game. They're currently last in the AFC North, a division that many had as the best and most competitive in football heading into this season. Unfortunately for the Bengals, quarterback Joe Burrow's status for Week 3 is up in the air as he continues to deal with a lingering calf injury. This game is tough to call. The Rams are a good team, but are definitely inferior to the Bengals with a healthy Joe Burrow. If Burrow plays, I like the Bengals to come out on top, but I do like the Rams to pull out a sneaky road W if Burrow can't go. I'm going to give the Bengals the benefit of the doubt and assume that Burrow will be playing in Week 3. If that's the case, I like the Bengals to get their first win of the season and cover the spread 24-20. That's it for another video here on Touchdown Kingdom. I really hope you guys enjoyed. As always, please make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date on all of the latest and greatest NFL content. Please make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this week's video. And more importantly, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your predictions down in the comments below. Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you next time.